Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Runaways. Season 1, Episode 8 is called Tsunami, so full spoilers for the episode as always. So we left off in quite a predicament at the end of the last episode. Victor gets shot by his wife, no less. And, we were left with him. I think we even said he was dead, because he looked pretty dead. But
he did look pretty dead. Apparently he wasn't quite.
He wasn't quite dead, because this episode revolves around the crisis of him dying and lying there bleeding out, and all the other parents coming over, sort of one by one, or well, two by two, I suppose is more accurate, but to help out. And yeah, so we got that going on, and we have that's what a lot of the episode is. Because it's funny, I think from a structural point of view, this episode's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because we start off and it's focusing mostly on Alex and Nico and the story of Amy. And we get flashbacks. We get flashbacks to Amy when she was with Alex, and she's cracking a joke about, oh, why are you going to ask about my sister? You've had a crush on her since you were 11, all that kind of thing. And there's these hints of what's going on, and Nico gets pissed at Alex. She is pissed at him for knowing more about her death and not telling her. Yeah. Rightfully so. This was it was kind of a 50-50 scene for me, because on the one hand, I wasn't necessarily loving having to go through it, but in the other, if she didn't get pissed about this, I would say it's completely unrealistic.
Yeah. I mean, the part that got me was she's like, right, you've been hiding stuff from me. How do you know the password and the real reason you didn't go to the funeral? And I was like, wait. Why are they linked?
Yeah, we actually don't know why I didn't go to the funeral yet. They never actually got to that part of the explanation.
We didn't get to that. And also, I was just like, yeah, but why do they have to be linked? Could he not have just not, because he was saying the whole time, he didn't feel like going to the funeral. He didn't feel up to it. He didn't grieve in that way.
I think it's just because the new secret of the password has made her think back to that again, and it's like, no, that's probably a lie as well. There's more going on there.
Maybe, and I don't know. I'm not feeling that part of it, to be honest.
I mean, that wasn't an issue for me,
no,
but just because, I don't know, I just don't care.
I just questioned it, and it threw me off.
But yeah, so we focus a lot on that. We get these flashbacks to her, and like Amy's talking to the guy who her mum hires to track people down and things. We met him before, big ginger beard.
Yes.
And he clearly knows her, and he's like, hey, I looked into this. Like, you've breached her company. You've hacked into her, and she's got people looking for the culprit, and now I know it's you. I'm not going to turn you in, but you have to turn yourself in. Like, there's no way out of this. This is going to be a thing. And a lot of the episodes kind of building up this idea, is Tina behind what's going on? Is she the one who killed her daughter? Is that a thing? And obviously we've had evidence that she doesn't want anyone searching in her room for various reasons. And obviously that can play multiple ways. That can play as a grieving mother who's like, no, don't touch anything. Everything has to be the way it was.
Yeah.
It can play it that way, but it could be suspicious. She doesn't want anyone finding clues or such things. Which they specifically bring up that her phone and her backpack were never found, and she thinks that they might still be in the room somewhere. Especially if she was hacking her mother behind her back, she was probably hiding things and being secretive. And
yeah, Tina didn't do a great job of searching the room, did she? If she was really concerned about clues.
If that's the case, yeah.
If that's the case, yeah. If anything, that maybe lends credence to the grieving mother wanting to keep the room the same.
I think she is, not because I have evidence, more just because I feel like it's the natural swerve, is to make us think she's a brutal murderer who killed her own daughter, and then swerve it to, no, she's actually not that bad of a person.
I agree. And, to go back to, things where, when she was reading the diary, she's like, if you wanted to read the diary, you could have just asked. Things like, she was willing to let her, or at least she says she was willing to let her. I have no reason to doubt her, really. It'd be like, well, if there's going to be clues, they're probably going to be in there. So, it really does seem like, no, just don't touch things. We've seen it in other shows before.
Do you know, it's funny. I throughout this show, I feel like I've always liked the kids more, and I still do. But I think this episode did a pretty good job of saying, no, sometimes if it does focus on the parents, it's not bad. Because I actually kind of liked a lot of the parent stuff in this one.
I liked it more than most of the kids stuff, personally.
Oh, yeah, so did I.
How you said, this was strange structurally? All this flashback stuff felt out of place. That was the stuff that felt like it was not feeling right. Whereas the rest of it had this really natural, okay, this is the cliffhanger of the last episode.
Oh yeah, well,
this is where it jives.
I was fine with it at the start. It was just when it went away, and then we focused on the aftermath of the shooting for almost all of the episode, and then right at the very end, we swung back round and gave us flashbacks again. That's what I was saying was weird, is that we kind of forgot about it. and I was like, oh no, now it's about this. And then at the very end, it came back around and did this.
Yeah.
It felt like two different episodes that were kind of fused together somehow.
It felt like leftover parts that was like, well, we'll just throw them onto here.
Potentially. I wonder if it's just a case of maybe they've got 2 episodes left after this. They need to get these established before we get to the next episode, and maybe it was just a structural problem of whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to like spitball why.
It could have been. And the thing is, I get the end, the start of this episode maybe should have stayed where it was, but this is on Hulu. They can run a bit longer if they need to for an episode, right?
Oh, sure.
They're not constrained to a set time. The ending scene with the kids, which comes back into all this stuff, I feel like might have played better at the start of the next episode.
May have once we see the next episode.
Maybe I'll be
sure.
wrong to say that, but it feels that way to me right now.
No, that's fine. What I did like about that scene at the end, though, with the kids when Chase smashes the laptop, that is a frustrating as hell moment, right? It is frustrating.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of like how frustrating it feels, because it's not like the kids are going along with it. At least 2 of them, if not 3 of them, are dead against this happening. And the crushing look in Alex's face was like, that's how I feel right now from a writing perspective. Why did you do that, Chase, you idiot? Now you have no evidence.
Yeah.
So,
I think what was more frustrating about that scene to me was the actual fighting part.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like, I like the idea of, okay, no, some of them are opposed to this now. Let's debate this, or let's go over this. But just cut into the fight and smashing it was just less interesting to me.
Yeah, it was very abrupt. It was very quick. Maybe I could use more time to really boil over.
Yeah.
I do. What makes me think now, though, because, I mean, the kids still have to run away, which is going to happen. It's the concept of the show. We're not going to do that. But now that we're at this place now where 2 of them, like, even if they still think their parents have been doing something wrong, they don't want to just throw them in because they think there's more going on and they understand and other reasons. I feel like now there has to be a big thing, either at the end of the next episode or in the finale itself.
Something to push them over the edge.
Yeah, something terrible. They have to see their parents make a choice that's bad.
Yeah, because they've already seen this choice and been deliberating all season, with the sacrifices. So there has to be something new at this point, I think, for it to feel convincing.
I don't even know if it has to be new per se. I think it has to be like, and it's funny because I think a lot of what went on with the parents in this episode kind of like was getting there. Like for us, they don't get to see it. But when the parents start saying, "Oh, hey, we'll sacrifice you," no, we'll sacrifice you instead. When it got to that point, and then it started becoming about, "Oh, we'll have to sacrifice one of our kids," I'm like, okay, I can see where maybe the evil decision, where most of them are going to decide to do something really bad, and that's, the kids are going to be aware of it somehow. They're going to witness the decision being made or whatever.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Like, it's leaning more and more towards like even Alex, who was dead set on no, we're sharing this evidence, had watched this video, and was admitting that they didn't seem like they wanted to do this, that they were just so it's already pointing at now there's someone behind this, pulling their strings, and they're starting to be aware of that. So I'm kind of going, there's got to be something new that happens to me, like for me. Otherwise, if they go, no, we're just getting out of here, it feels kind of cheap.
Well, you're making assumptions there that'll be the thing. That's not the only way it could go that would make sense. There's other things it could do. Like, they might run away not because they have to get away from their parents, but because they're just in danger of being around. Because Jonas in this episode actually threatens them at one point. He actually says, if one of you don't die, then one of your kids are. Like, that he says that at one point. So, it could be that. I think more interesting, though, is that they witness their parents make a choice that solidifies to them, no, regardless of them having good qualities, regardless of them being sympathetic, which they are sympathetic, you sympathise with a lot of them in this episode. Yeah. I think there has to be a choice that they witness happen where they go, no, our parents are over a line.
No, I agree. I hope it's more that than what you were saying about Jonah, because to me that's doing something new. That's new information revealed to them that it's like, oh no, we can't do that. Whereas we're in danger feels like I'm getting cheated a little bit, because I want them to run away from their parents, not from this big baddie. Unless
the danger is that one of the parents does actually do something violent against one of the kids, and then they realise, unless they all get scared because of that. The only distinction I want to make, though, is the whole idea of them seeing the parents make a decision is because you said there has to be something new, and I agree with that. But I think, it could be something that was already there that they just didn't know about yet. But I think for me the more interesting part is if it's actually a new decision that they make live, if it's like a new thing that they do right there and then.
Absolutely.
And not just that, oh, it turns out they also did this years ago or whatever.
Yeah. And it has to be something that involves them all, because they've all got to choose to run away. It can't be just, one of them. That's the thing, you're going, oh, what if one of them threatens them? It's like, yeah, okay, but why do they all run then?
Joe, I can see them, most of them being convinced by something, and maybe like Chase is the outlier, but then Chase witnesses something even worse with his parents specifically, and comes in and like swings the vote or something like that. I could see like that sort of decision making moment happening.
Yeah, that'd work.
But yeah, so most of the parents are in the, they spend a lot of the episode in Chase's house in the lab and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and they come. You have Alex's parents come, and they're helping a little bit. Jeffrey's very suspicious. He's got his gun with him. He's kind of nervous. He even thinks that that Tina's the one who shot him at first.
Yeah,
because he's ready to like pull out his gun, and then like he's like, yeah, Chase is here. And he's like, oh, how you doing, Chase?
Hide that behind my back. Don't want him seeing this.
It's always funny about that scene. The way he said, oh, hey, how you doing, with a smile on his face, like, that's not appropriate given the circumstance anyway,
It's
Jeffrey.
not. No. It's just like, read the room.
That sounds too casual. You'd be like, oh, Chase, I'm so sorry. How you coping? That would be maybe something to say.
How you holding up?
Yeah, something like that. Instead, it's like, oh, how you doing? Have you watched any good games recently?
Yeah. You want to go grab a drink?
Yeah, so that was weird. Actually, I liked that moment as well when he goes upstairs with his mother, and she's pouring herself like a drink, and he's like, I'll have one of those, and she hesitates for a second, and he's like, yeah, he needs one. That's fine.
I'm with her on that one.
Yeah. He get into a fight with his father, and then
I think when you watch your dad get shot, I mean, even if you're a few years underage, I'm like, yeah, go on, you can have a drink.
Yeah. You need to dampen the feelings a little bit. This kid stuff I did like in the episode, though. It's funny, because I think on paper, if you told me about this, I would have said, oh, whatever. Like, I wouldn't have cared. But the stuff with, like, who phoned who first, and then people realising who phoned who first, was actually kind of... It made for some nice little moments, I thought.
I liked parts of it, yeah.
I liked Gert realising that Chase phoned her first. I liked her giving Carolina shit for, like, oh, you don't want to be alone with him because you actually like Nico. Like, it's amazing that I actually like that tangled web of like the love square, pentagon, triangle.
I mean, I'm kind of just tolerant of it. I don't hate it, but
I'm into it now. I wasn't into it before when it was just a triangle and it was just like, oh, he's into her but she's into him thing. Now that we've got this pentagon almost of
this is more interesting. Don't get me wrong, it's better than just the standard triangle, but I don't necessarily like it. It hasn't done anything with it yet to make me like it.
Poor Molly's the only one not involved in the love shape.
Molly's not really involved in anything right now. She's not really involved in this episode.
Oh, she's got her own little mystery. She's got this. But I laughed out loud. She gets this key. Her parents left her a letter with a key in it for like a deposit box at like a train station or whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes and opens this box, and it's a VHS, and she says, "What the hell is this?" And I laughed out loud.
Oh, that cracked me right up.
I thought that was hilarious because I'm like,
that is the best joke the show has had yet, frankly.
Because I'm like, yeah, she's what, like 14 or something like that. Like, I buy. She doesn't know what that is.
That was the other thing that made me feel weirdly old. Even though I'm not old, I'm younger than you for a start. But when,
I'm not old.
I said for a start. I'm not calling you old. I'm just saying, even by context of this, I'm the younger one.
Okay, sure.
But when it was Gert and Carolina breaking into the house, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I know about this because when we were in 8th grade, we used to go up there, and he used to sit there and play Candy Crush."
Oh yeah, that made me feel
I was
old.
like, "Oh my god, Candy Crush at that? What?"
No, but I mean, 8th grade's not that long ago.
I mean, no, but that's the thing. I forget that they're quite. I forget they're still relatively young.
It's only like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know what grade they're in just now. They're not mentioned.
No, they haven't. I mean, it's got to be a few years, right?
They're about 10 or 11. I don't think they're in their senior year. So
no, I don't think so. But no, this was the thing for them. Okay, it's not that long ago for them, but it made me realize that okay, no, they're actually playing that age.
Oh yeah, Candy Crush didn't exist when we were in school, so
exactly.
Right. Okay.
I was like, oh, that was weird.
No, this is fair. But no, I like that. I like the raptor being in the rooms with Gert, and Gert like sit down there, and like I knew it was in the car. I saw the sheet, and I was like, oh, the raptor's in the back seat.
They don't hide it for very long, admittedly.
No. I I'm loving the Raptor stuff. I love Chase going to fight it. I love, but I like Chase trying to fight Robert as well. That felt oddly real to me for a moment.
Yeah, I like Chase. I think out of the kids, Chase is my favorite in this episode. He has
Mm.
the most, even though he's the most frustrating at the end. I think he has the most to do. And
Well,
most
I think that's why that moment at the end, oddly, because here's the thing: before his dad got shot, his dad was trying to kill him practically. This was a proper abusive moment, right,
Yeah.
between him and his parent. And despite that, seeing his father be shot and him hoping for after that, no, it was just that drug that Jonah gave
Yeah,
him.
yeah, it was just a moment.
Like,
His brain wasn't there.
the emotions are so, because I think you could look at that and say, oh, that doesn't make sense. He should be mad at his dad for what he just did. But I think the emotions are so complex that even as frustrating as that moment at the end is when he smashes the laptop and it's maybe a bit too quick, you actually get how messed up his head is right now with thinking about this stuff. Where he's in this really weird place where he thinks his mum's a good person, he thinks his dad could be a good person, and it's back and forth, and there's more to it. Especially, and Caroline as well with Frank, and like Frank doesn't seem to know what they've been doing.
No, no. And speaking of Frank, just real quick, last week we were talking about his gloves, and we were like, they mentioned that, oh, it was a parlor trick, and we were debating, okay, what do they actually do?
Oh, sure, yeah.
It seems to be, no, they do have power, these gloves, and that says to me that, that whatever Jonah has is far more powerful if this is a parlor trick by his standards.
Yeah. But I don't know. Something to explore. Of course, there was some stuff here with like who's to blame. Oh, we're going to blame. I'm forgetting Chase's mum's name. Janet. Thank you. Like we're going to blame Janet. Janet's going to have to sacrifice herself because they're going to get the two pods out. And we see how it like he's got it in a cube. That's this cuboid thing, and then it transforms out into.
I like the expansion.
You like the expansion, okay? And they're going to sacrifice her, and she's out fighting against it at first, and Robert sticks up for her. I like some of the. Again, I did not like the affair between Robert and Janet at all. Really, at least not from there. I liked Tina, and I liked Victor's kind of reactions potentially to it, but I didn't like the affair itself. But much like last episode, I actually think it did make some interesting kind of awkward moments where Robert steps in to try and like stick up for her.
Yeah,
and Tina has to stand there and kind of watch it. And even the moment where she's going to sacrifice her, Janet's like agreed to do it because he threatens Chase. He's like, if you're not going to do it, then Chase is going to. She's like, okay, fine, I'm doing it. And Robert makes them all leave the room so he can have a moment with her. And like Tina has to walk out and let her husband have a private moment with this woman he had an affair with. That moment actually worked. I like that moment.
It did, but she goes along with it. She doesn't argue. Cause it's like, all right, this is the last moment.
She bites it back, yeah, and like does it. But you can see it in her eyes. She's not happy.
You can. She's not happy, but she's willing to give it because it is potentially a last moment.
And then Robert the Fool decides to take Janet's place, which again has to hurt Tina so much. He's willing to sacrifice himself.
And this is one of those where I was like, okay, this was maybe the only bit of this plot I wasn't really into because it was very predictable. Whereas all the debating of who it should be, I really liked. And them going, "Hey, Janet, you don't really add anything. We don't really need you in Pride."
I do have to admit, I was kind of expecting one of them to die by the end of the episode.
I thought it would have been more interesting, yeah.
And the resolution is definitely less interesting. Because because for me, what I thought was going to happen is I thought Janet was going to die, and then I thought that's what pushes Chase over the edge, that his mother has been sacrificed for his father.
So yeah, now he can't deal with it with the rest of them. No, that would have made sense as well.
So that would have been really interesting for me, I think, dramatically. So I think, my main complaint about the episode really is probably just all the things all the ideas that it was kind of giving me throughout the episode. The ending was actually maybe the least interesting way to go about it.
There was like nice things that it played with, when they were, Janet mentions how, all the others took the gifts from Jonah, but she didn't. And so, but she was still part of it. She wasn't ostracized. Things like Frank used to be a part of this at some point, but he had when he had his mind wiped, which we knew he'd had a mind wipe already because of the memories he's been having. Yeah,
because Tina has that little line in front of him. So, is he back in now?
Yeah, I hadn't realized he'd been part of this in that context before. But up till now, it seemed like he'd just walked in on something and they just wiped that.
Yeah.
But no, it seems like there was more. I really like the debating of choosing who it should be. Going,
Yeah.
yeah, especially obviously like Dale and Stacey are a lot of fun in these moments.
Yeah, and obviously Dale, when Jonah threatens the kids, that's when Dale grabs the gun and starts threatening people. He's like, "No, if you're going to go near my daughters, this is where the line's drawn." That said, this also gave me one of my other biggest laughs of the episode, is when someone said it should be Frank. He's not even in Pride, and it cuts to Leslie, his wife, and she goes, "Yeah, that makes a lot of sense."
It's like, yeah, fair enough.
Actually, I think the exact line was, "That's not the worst idea." That's what she says, and that made me crack up.
I did like that quite a lot.
Because I think up until this point, as much as she's been kind of pushing him off, and she seems to care about Jonah more and all the rest of it. This episode and like bringing him in and trying to make him feel comfortable, at least made me give me the idea that she still did care about him in some way. But this moment was just, nah, he's expendable.
He's the most expendable out of all of us, clearly.
Yeah, I think Frank is going to. Actually, I think Frank may be the one who dies in front of the kids. I can see them like taking out Frank for some reason.
Yeah, he'll start to remember, and maybe the mind wipe thing doesn't work twice. I don't know.
Because I don't think Frank's interested enough that I can see him having like plots for seasons or anything like that. I can kind of see him being this sacrificial lamb to set up the danger for the kids.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that's the least interesting. It's the safest choice.
Yeah, it won't bother me if they do it though.
No, it won't. But as I really wanted one of them to die here, it would have been far more compelling if whether that had been Janet or Robert.
Like I say, Tracy's anger, trying to fight with Robert, him not being able to deal with things afterwards, like all his stuff, like the idea of Janet going and sacrificing herself to save Victor, and what that does to him was really fascinating to me.
Yeah, and I think it would have been interesting if it had been Robert for what it does to Nico, because she's been conflicted at the minute anyway with what's been going on with the affair. But if it's like, okay, no, now I've lost someone else, I'm left with just my mother.
They're setting up the idea that Tina's the bad guy because she's the one who called Jonah, because they were all not calling him.
Yeah, they were trying to sort out in house, but it's just like, well, no, he's dead. We kind of need to.
Yeah. So,
but she does save Robert.
She does, yeah. She steps in just as Robert's about to do it, because Robert's got the fist of guns on. He's ready to go. He's ready to fight.
Yeah.
And she breaks out the staff and disintegrates one of the pods. So
yeah.
And what surprised me about this actually is that Jonah didn't really get angry afterwards. He was just kind of like, "Oh, well, don't worry, Leslie. I'll be fine."
It seems interesting. He keeps saying how Victor's the only one that's essential to the plan. Whatever he's going to do is the one that's essential.
He also says this is the last time he had to. At least he expects this was the last time he had to be revived. This last time, this was the last sacrifice. So it shouldn't matter in the long run that these devices aren't around anymore.
Yeah, it only matters to we need Victor back.
Yeah, who's not dead yet. He's basically in an induced coma in one of the pods to try and keep him ticking for now. So we should get him back. One could say he's immortal, like a vampire. Kind of like when he was on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I was waiting for this, the whole discussion. When it became clear in the episode that he wasn't actually dead, and he was going to be sticking around in some form.
Undead, one might say.
For God's sake. Last week, we were distinctly saying, well, that's it. You're going to have to work harder for your references now if he's gone. And
they
then
made it easier.
It's just like, no, they're just giving you even more chances. This is just throwing you a softball, and I'm not happy with it.
Yep. The dude from Charmed is trying to save Spike from Buffy. That's what was happening in this episode.
Yes, that is accurate. I mean, if you really want to boil it down, then yes.
Hey, in the flashbacks, they openly talked about them playing Battlefront. And did it bother you they were playing Battlefront on a laptop with no mouse?
Oh, it's so much. Just like, what are you doing? I mean, it's technically playable. Technically,
it's possible, but no one would choose to.
Why? Why would you do that? Like, what are you doing?
You have two of them playing a first-person shooter without a mouse.
Also, she's complaining about her internet connection. She's lagging behind. It's like, well, yeah, that's because you're in public Wi-Fi in some coffee shop. You stupid people. Of course, you're not going to get good online gaming speeds.
Connor realised he was going to cross a line there, and he censored himself. This is not worth the insult I was about to give. No. So I need to backtrack.
This is not suitable for it. But it's in my head, and you all know it.
I'll give them more credit for it, actually. I think the casting of Amy was really. She actually looks like she could be Nico's sister.
Yeah.
I thought their mouths were very similar to So I thought that was actually good casting. So come back to the flashbacks at the end. We see that she gets a message on her phone because Nico was charging the phone. Which, by the way, most phones you can still look at what's on the phone while it's charging. I don't know why she had to leave it behind to charge.
Yeah, I don't know why she had to leave it fully charged. Plug it in, maybe 2 minutes because it's been dead a while. That was the other part that really made me laugh. She pressed the buttons. It's like, oh, it's dead. She looked shocked that it'd be dead. It's like, well, no shit. It's been lying in a bag for 2 years. I know it's been not been doing anything, but of course it's dead.
But yeah, so the last message she got was, he knows, leave the house now. Or he found out, leave the house now.
I also thought it was weird. Why did she leave it in that room to charge? Why not just take it into her own room?
That's also bizarre. Yeah, easier to get it back later if she doesn't have to sneak into the room.
Yeah.
No, all these things make complete sense.
Like small things, don't get me wrong. Not ruining anything, but just little things that I'm going, why?
Yeah, for me, the fact that you could wait 2 minutes and then just look at it while it's still charging is my biggest thing. You don't have to wait.
Exactly.
So I don't know. But hey, interesting enough. So obviously we suspected someone actually killed her. We don't get to see who it is. I thought they were going to cut to it and show us, Janet. It was the nice parent the whole time. She's the one who killed her. But no,
it's probably just Jonah, which is kind of boring.
Well, no, because he was decrepit in the coffin or in the bed, like as an old man. Was he?
Because we don't know how quick it takes him to get to that stage. We don't know how long these life cycles last. Because if they've been doing it every
here's the thing.
What year? 15 years.
I think if it was Jonah, it would have just shown us right now. I feel like now it's teased too much. It has to be someone more interesting.
It's got to be a shock.
Yeah, it has to be a shock, whoever it is. So
it's got to be one of the men, though, right?
It seems to be a man from what we've seen, and just from that text, he knows.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm judging on.
Yeah, but even the figure from the back, I admittedly don't see a lot. It felt like a man shape, I guess. But
who's the most interesting choice then?
I mean, Dale would be the biggest shock.
Yeah,
wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but if they tried to swerve me, how about this? What if they have what if Frank is like a sleeper agent and they program him to go do things for him?
Yeah, could be.
So it's Frank, but it's actually under the orders of someone else.
Like I feel like Jeffrey's the easy choice because he's been shown to be aggressive and that sort of man.
Which is why it's maybe the least interesting.
It's the least interesting. The only interesting part of that for me would be, okay, but he knows Alex is like is really good friends with this. It's like, okay, how does this affect what it's going to do to his son?
Yeah, that'd make it maybe interesting when he finds out, when Alex finds out this. It'd
be interesting to play it that way at least, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Victor, given his temper, is probably again a little bit not as exciting.
Yeah, there's not a lot of really interesting choices though. I don't think for the men.
Robert.
His own daughter.
We think.
Well, I mean, I think that would be an interesting swerve in the sense that we've been
Tina,
Tina. So
Tina's the evil, awful one, but then oh no, Robert's actually the one who killed her for a reason.
Yeah, it would make his willingness to sacrifice himself here maybe slightly more interesting as well.
Yeah, because maybe it's not even just maybe part of it, if it is him, then his sacrifice here is actually more of like a guilt thing, where he's like, no, it should be me because of what I did. Like in his head, that's what he's thinking.
He tells her, you go see Chase. You have to say goodbye. He needs that. There's maybe something there that could work.
Yeah. But no, actually, I mostly really liked the episode. I think we've had some nitpicks of various things.
I think it was mostly focused on the parent stuff, and that was by far the stuff I liked. Weirdly, I think that's the first time I've said that.
I think it's just because we're at the point now where they've built them up enough where it was an interesting thing. The character decisions on the scene made sense. Were interesting to explore. I think where they've left the kids off was really interesting in terms of their emotions.
Yeah, I think it was just frustrating because I didn't really get enough of them to do anything really interesting individually.
When it came back to Alex and the footage, like when he's sitting there and everyone goes to see him, like we hadn't seen him for like most of the episode. Yeah,
and I think I found Molly's stuff particularly frustrating just because she's just kind of off on her own, doing her own thing. I mean, it's going to come back together, I get that, but right now it feels like, okay, these are the plot beats we have to do, even though inherently they're not that interesting on their own.
Yeah. That said, I still think overall I'd call it a good episode.
I would too. Yeah.
I think I'd rank it up there amongst the better ones.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just weird because it kind of flipped the tables where it's the parents who were more interesting
it's
for a
one of those,
change.
the stuff that's good is really good, but it
Yeah.
does have some problems.
Yeah, like I say, dinosaur stuff. I like all that.
I'm always down for a dinosaur.
I'm down for the dinosaur
Down
hiding
for a
in the
dino.
back seat. Yeah, down for a dino. Always down for a dino.
Yeah.
But hey, that's you got episode 8. So we've got 2 left.
Yep.
They weren't taking any time off for Christmas. We kept going. So we'll see you next week for episode 9. I'm expecting, if not the reveal of the killer at the end of episode 9 is the cliffhanger, going into the finale, the shocking thing that, or maybe even that happens during the episode and it's the end of the episode 9 where the kids say we're going to run away. Like they make that choice. Maybe at the end
and
of the
10
episode.
is the process of,
Yeah.
Okay, what do we need to do this?
Yeah, and I feel like maybe one of the parents will catch them doing it and they'll actually be like a bit of a chase and there'll actually be more of a moment out of it, and then I mean it could go a number of different ways. I'm just kind of
I know that makes sense though, at least.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be surprising if it did that.
Or I mean admittedly it wouldn't be much of a swerve given we know what's going to happen because it's the premise of the show, but I wonder if they kind of play it where we don't actually think the kids have made that choice yet, but then at the end of the episode the parents all like discover they're all gone, and it's kind of this moment where we'll see them all together somewhere.
Honestly, I can see that being the final moment of the last episode.
Yeah, I can see it. But no. So that's episode 8. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You'll get a link to that in the description, as well as some other useful links. But that is that. So otherwise that's us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?